Hey everyone, Michael Firth here, founding Field Advisory Board member and Crown with Neumi, and it is my pleasure to do this quick recording for a deep dive and understanding into the Neumi compensation plan. Now, the time of this recording is the 30th of October, 2023. We've just made some enhancements to the compensation plan, so if you've seen any outdated versions, this is the latest one and scrap the rest. So as I get into the presentation, first thing I want to say is this is the overarching compensation plan, but from time to time, there will be promotional bonuses that may come in. We might have a promotion for a month or two. So pay attention to those as we go through. And the other thing I want to say is too, when you're looking at this, just know that Neumi is a member-driven company. The company was started with that focus of members having a say into the structure of the company and how it began. And so as another one of the founding Field Advisory Board members and my mentor and coach is Alex Monterossa. He was integral with working with the company to make sure we had the greatest compensation plan. And as a result, he taught me from day one to follow the 100-30-10 philosophy. Now, there's a separate video that we have, and the person who's invited you can send to you that talks about that. But in essence, what it says is you don't build 3 legs to have 3 solid legs. You build 4, 5, or 6. And that'll make sure you've got a much more profitable and stable payout than if you just focus on keeping 3. So make sure you watch that because it's really got a lot of wisdom in it from the person who had a lot of impact in designing this particular comp plan. So first thing I want to say is we have no membership fees. Neumi has disrupted the industry by eliminating membership fees. And we also eliminated confusion as well. What do I mean? Every bottle of product is $50 US. So it doesn't matter whether you're buying at the time of this recording, the Neumi Skin, the Nutra Swish, or even the brand new Hers product that's just come out in some markets. To keep it simple, every product is $50 US. And in order to qualify in the program, everybody just needs to purchase $100 US of product. Now, obviously, depending where you are in the world, the $50 of product will have local taxes and distribution out on top of that. But it makes it real simple to understand because a lot of companies, they try and bedazzle you with science in relation to their comp plan. And they talk about PV, BV, complicated ratios. And then they say, hey, we're paying 55 cents in the BV. And you go, what does that mean? Well, let me tell you, we don't have a PV, BV ratio. We simply have $1 US equals a point. That means we can transparently tell you we pay up to 55 cents in the dollar in the comp plan, whereas other companies using PV-BV ratios may end up paying 27%, 38%. I can tell you, because of our low cost of production, I've not come across one company yet in the industry that pays anywhere near what we do out of the dollar. So there are 7 ways you can profit. There are weekly commissions and monthly commissions. In the weekly commissions, there are 3 separate commissions, and that is in the fast money makers. Now, we're going to talk about buckets, just to make it simple. The weekly bucket is the fast money makers, a very lucrative compensation plan where you can earn thousands of dollars in your first few weeks if you wish. I want to also point out a quick disclaimer. This is an opportunity, and just like it says on our presentation, members will earn different amounts depending on where they are in the world, what effort they put in, market conditions. There's so many factors. It's an opportunity, and there's no guarantee one person will earn exactly the same as somebody else by doing exactly the same amount of work. Just pointing that out. But the fast money makers is a very lucrative way of earning some fast commissions. And then the monthly bucket is the team leveraged residual income. And that's where the long-term incomes tend to kick in. So there are 3 weekly commissions, and that is retail sales, preferred customers, and welcome pack purchases. Now, let's just break it down a little further. Retail sales, you'll notice it says non-NFR. What does that mean? Well, you can send someone to your website in any of the 65 countries of operation, and they can purchase at a retail price of $65 US if they're purchasing one-off. But let's talk about retail sales in the old-fashioned sense, which is I bought a bottle of product here for 50 and I'm going to sell it to a non-member. Please pay attention in the markets because, yes, we're open in 65 markets, but if I just pick my home, Australia is NFR. What does that mean? Not for retail sale. That means I can introduce as many preferred customers as I like, and they're all buying directly from Neumi off our replicating websites. I can introduce as many members as I like, and they can rank advance and go crown if they like, all in Australia. But if you were to buy a bottle of product and sell it to a non-member for a profit from your hand to theirs, you just broke the law. So it's important not to do that, and don't put Neumi's business in jeopardy by doing things in a market when you're not allowed. So an NFR market, you cannot retail except for people purchasing off the website itself. Just pointing that out. But in non-NFR markets, you can sell, not a problem. The next one is, and these are the two drivers really, when people are exposed to Neumi, they're going to become either a preferred customer most often or maybe a member. So let's talk about that. Anyone you introduce or you're the sponsor of, that is an industry term, sponsor means the introducing member. Anyone you sponsor yourself, you will earn 25%. So let's say a new member joins and they want quite a lot of product to get out to friends and family, and they buy $1,000 pack, which is the most popular pack across the world. Well, if that's the case, you'd earn $250 for that one-off purchase. If someone, let's say, decided to become a customer and they wanted to try, say, 2 of the products and they spent $100 on an essential pack, well, you would earn $25. Now, the cool news is that if a preferred customer comes in and keeps purchasing ongoing, every time they repurchase on auto ship, you will get $25 every time their automatic order goes through. Now, here's the cool news. You can earn up to 6 levels more. So anyone you introduce, 25%. Anyone your members beneath you in levels 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 introduce, you can earn 3% on those as well. Now, you immediately qualify for the first 3 levels as soon as you join as a member. But in order to unlock levels 4, 5, 6, and 7, you must rank advance, meaning build a bigger business, which I'll show you what that is in a little table a little later in the presentation. So that's really how they work. But I want to point out that the weekly commissions are based on all customer volume for life. So all customer volume will always be paid in your weekly commissions, all the 7 levels. But member purchases, anyone who joins with a welcome pack, they will be paid anything they purchase in their first 30 days, known as the enrollment period. They'll be paid out in the weekly commissions. But as soon as we get to 31 days, automatically all of the future purchases from any member will flick into the monthly commissions. So the monthly commissions are not based on any customer purchases because they're all staying in the weekly commissions. From the second month of business onwards, that is where all the monthly commissions are calculated. So with the 3 commissions in the weekly commissions, there are 4 in the back end. Let's talk about the 4 here. The very first one's called the power of 3. Now, the power of 3 is like a roadmap. Now, it's not the permanent focus for you. It's just to get the engine started and a flow or a map, if you like, to get that airplane down the runway and off the ground. Then other commissions take over from this in the long run. But the short term to the medium term, it's really a simple way of showing you how to build the business. What do I mean? Here's you. If you out and introduce a minimum of 3 people. Now, if you follow the 130-10 philosophy shown by Alex, and it's in that recording, as I said, you won't introduce 3. You might introduce 4, 5, or 6, but at least 3 in your front line. When you've introduced 3 people and they're all members, not customers, and they're purchasing 100 PV, you will receive $50 on top of all your other commissions, including the uni level and all the other things I'm going to talk about in a minute. You'll receive this $50 every single month, as long as you have 3 people that you have frontline to you that are purchasing every single month. Then your goal is to do what? Introduce 1,000 more people? No, that's not smart. It's actually go out and help those 3 people duplicate a really simple baby step, which is find at least 3. Like I said, not just 3. But 3 is all that's needed for this commission. But, you know, how many tires does a car have? 5. It's got a spare. So you want to make sure you get at least 3, maybe 4, maybe 5, maybe 6, right? So you help those people find at least 3 people. Now, 3 by 3, if you also have a total volume that qualifies you as a senior member, right, which is 1,500 turnover, now you will qualify for the $250 ongoing from this power of 3 structure. And then the roadmap is even simpler. What do we do now? We simply help those 3 people to find their first baby step, 3 people at least. When they do that, at milestone 3, if you are qualified as a 2-star with a minimum of 10,000 PV, you will continue every month on top of all your other bonuses to get $1,500 from this particular step, which is fantastic. So it's a great roadmap. Remember what I said, it's not your permanent focus, because if you know how to build a network marketing business, you should be working way beyond your first 3 levels, but it's a great way of getting it started for a solid, good structured business. Now, once you've completed 3 by 3 by 3, if you wanted to, you can complete another power of 3 on top of that. Now, the uni level starts at level 3 and then progresses through 7 levels deep with dynamic compression. So as you can see here, you immediately, just like the weekly commissions, you immediately unlock levels 1, 2, 3. But As you grow your business, which I'll show you in a minute what that means, and you become a senior member, you unlock level 4. Then level 5 as a 1-star, then level 6 as a 2-star, then level 7 as a 3-star. Then you get to our leadership levels of diamond, double diamond, and triple diamond. You notice that it hasn't changed. It's exactly the same. I'm going to show you what that means in a minute. And then we have crown, where we add an extra 1% on the 7th level. Now, you'll notice how there's a word over here that says dynamic compression. A lot of companies don't have that. What does it mean? Well, if you were to introduce someone let's say you had about 6 or 7 people on the line, and if 3 of them dropped out, in a lot of companies, that means out of your uni level of 7 levels, you'd only get paid on the ones that are still purchasing. In our program, it means we have dynamic compression, which means if there is a dead spot for the month, everything shuffles up. Now, this is important to make sure you tell your members, because if they don't have an auto ship or a purchase for the month, and they've got a lot of downline members, the commissions will pass them and go to the next person if they're not what we call active and they haven't made a purchase for the month. So I'll talk about that in a minute. But dynamic compression means you get paid way more than a lot of other compensation plans. Right. So you notice I've got a waterline on the side here compared to the splashes on the left. What's that about? Let's just touch on it. Weekly commissions are active. That means it's based on your work, getting out there, driving the business. Monthly commissions is based on auto ships, which tend to be a little bit more solid and reliable from members than just one-time purchases from customers. That's why you build your business more securely when you're focusing on these structures. The next bonus is called the infinity bonus. Now, what does that mean? From level 8, from diamond through to crown, we will pay you from level 8 to infinity various bonuses. As a diamond, you'll get a 0.5% bonus on the total turnover from level 8 onwards, with a maximum payout of $2,500 US a month. As a double diamond, we'll make it a 1% from level 8 to infinity, with a payout maximum $5,000, 1.5% with a $10,000 payout maximum as a triple diamond, and finally 2% with $15,000 payout for a crown. Now, I want to point out, this is not the total bonus you're getting paid. This is just the infinity bonus on top of the uni level, on top of the power of 3, on top of the welcome packs, on top of the preferred customers, on top of the retail sales. Okay. Finally, this is a profit sharing pool called the monthly leadership bonus pool. So what happens here is we put 6% of global member purchases, not customer purchases, global member purchases every month into a pool. We take 1% out of all 6%, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we put them into various pools. As soon as you rank as a 2-star, you will then qualify to profit share with that. And that would mean you might be building a business in 1 or 2 countries, and we're in 65. Let's say if the company goes berserk in a country you're not even in, you're going to profit share on that. So it has not just to do with your own turnover, which is exciting. So as a 2-star, you'll share with all the other 2-stars. As a 3-star, you'll share with the other 3-stars. So you can imagine if you go from 2-star to 3-star to diamond to double diamond, triple diamond, and crown, at the time of this recording, there is only 4 crowns. So all 4, that whole pool of 1% just gets divided between 4 people, where there might be a few hundred 2-stars, for example. So you can see that. Now, it's also cumulative. What does that mean? If you are a crown, you are sharing in the triple diamond pool, the double diamond pool, 3-star, and the 2-star. So you can share in all of these, which is exciting. So what I'm going to do now is talk about a bit of a diagram. So you'll notice here a couple of things. Firstly, it says here PV, 100 PV, all the way through to crown. Now, a lot of companies, if you don't know, make you purchase more product as you rank advance. And we sort of said to the company, well, why is that? And I'm going, well, it's about profit for the companies, basically. And we said, well, it doesn't make any sense. So we left it off. Again, the company listens. So PV is personal volume, and that's based on your personal purchases only. So 100 PV is required each month to remain active. So in other words, your customer volume isn't going to make you active. You need to use and tell. But I love this because it makes it authentic, because I would be a fraud if I told you how great these products were and I never used them myself. So we want authentic people involved in the company. So active status is required in order to receive a commission from any type of commission. So when you join, your welcome pack qualifies you for the first month, let's say 30 days. It's actually 36 days, but let's say 30 days just so you don't get stuck and miss the commissions. So you're active for that period, and you want to immediately get yourself onto auto ship for some sort of product purchase within 30 days of your joining. And that way you're missing that 6-day buffer. You're guaranteed that you're not going to miss any commissions, because otherwise in a month from now, if you introduce 20 people yourself and you haven't got an order, you won't earn a commission. It'll get compressed and get paid to your upline. Very important to point that out. So QV is qualification volume. And that's based on both buckets, welcome packs, customers, downline purchases, auto ships, everything, including the PRP program. What do I mean? Professional reseller program. If you haven't looked into that, in America and Canada at the moment, both of those markets have a professional reseller program where you could introduce a spa, a doctor's surgery, all these sorts of things. Now, don't get distracted by a shiny object. Within my business of 40,000 people or more, a stack of them have brought in professional resellers. I'm not focusing it on myself because I'm trying to build the network, and then the network opens the door. No one's cold calling these PRPs. People are bringing them through established relationships, which is great. But I pointed out that all of your QV includes PRP, which is huge. Now, qualification volume, QV, determines your rank for the deeper weekly, uni level bonus, infinity bonus, leadership bonus, all of that. So up the top here, you can see what QV means. So here is 1500 PV. And a minute ago, I said you need to, in order to unlock level 4, you needed to be a senior member. That means you need 1500 turnover from you and your team. If you wanted to be a 1-star, you would need 5,000, et cetera, all the way through. Now, let me just point out something. For rank purposes, important to note this, no more than 50% of your QV can come from your strongest leg. What do I mean? Let me point out an example. Let's say you introduced one person and they went out and had a huge team that developed 10,000 PV. Are you a 2-star? No. Why? Because as we said here, for rank purposes, no more than 50% of your QV can come from one leg. So in other words, the maximum you could count in this qualification from one leg would be 5,000. So you'd need to find 5,000 in legs 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 in order to make sure that you have 5,000 outside of that to make you a 2-star. Okay. So in other words, building one leg won't earn you a lot of money. 2 legs, 3 legs. 3 legs is the minimum goal, hence the power of 3. But really, if you follow the 130-10 philosophy, we want you to build beyond just the 3. So you've got some spare tires like the car. Okay. So with dynamic placement, the weekly bucket is paid out on the enrollment tree and the monthly bucket's paid on the placement tree. Now, when I say this, most people think I just spoke another language. So let me clarify what I mean with a real example. Now, this happened a couple of times in my team. So here's me, hypothetically, it actually is a real example. And I introduced one of my great buddies who's on a medical advisory board, a good doctor, who went out and introduced a friend of his. So person A introduced person B. Now, that leg at the time wasn't go as fast as I wanted. I didn't want to have more than 6 teams to work with. So when I had person 7, 8, 9, 10, etc., what do? You can position them underneath an established team. And that's exactly what I did with a guy called Larry. Larry then went out and introduced the first person, which was Karen Justice, fastest crown in the history of the company, who introduced Dr. Jerry, another crown, and off we go. So I show you that to say, well, what does it mean in the compensation plan? Remember I said the weekly commissions are paid out on the placement, enrollment tree. What do I mean? Well, if you introduce this person, that one there, you're still going to get 25% because you introduced them. So no, you don't lose a cent, no matter how far. If I put this person 100 people deep in one leg, you would still receive 25% from the weekly commissions. And anyone they introduced, so when Larry introduced Karen, I would get 3% from that. And when Karen introduced Dr. Jerry, then I get 3% of that. So you can see how that works, right? And it continues to roll down. Now, in the monthly commissions, why would you want to position someone, dynamically place someone under somebody else? Well, the good news is when you do, and we'll do this example, here is Larry, for example, on level 3. So I've placed Larry down here, but that means person B, even though that introduced him, prospers from that. So this person can form part of their network, their uni level, etc., right? And then, of course, all these other people are left. In this case, person C is level 1 for them, even though they're level 3 for me. So level 1 there, level 2, level 3, level 4. So in other words, you can help focus your attention and cause a fire from the bottom of the business up, because I can tell you when someone has a big group underneath them, they get pretty inspired. So it works, helps us focus. So as we close out and we talk about the compensation plan, as I said, remember to consider any additional promotional bonuses that come up from time to time. We might have specials on and things like that adds extra commissions. But I also want to point something out. If you wanted me to surmise how simple this compensation plan is, it really is this simple. Your goal is to use power of 3 to get the plane off the ground. That's all. Not just 3 or more. And then you teach 3 by 3. And what's going to happen? You're going to eventually become a 1-star. Did you know the whole compensation plan is based on 1-stars? That's it. So if you want to be a crown is 6 1-star legs. Want to be a triple diamond? 4. If you want to be, 5. If you want to be a double diamond, it's 4. If you want to be a diamond, it's 3. If you want to be a 3-star, it's 2. And of course, before that, you want to be a 1-star yourself. How do you do that? Focus on the power of 3. So I hope this has been helpful. This is the most current version, as I said, on the 30th of October, 2023. I look forward to seeing you on the next presentation. All the best.